Hi everyone, Happy New Year. The first video of 2023 will be on the flexible working changes which have been proposed by government. Still no timeline for introducing them yet, but it is seen as a positive step forward in the development of family-friendly and flexible working rights. So the background to these proposals are that the Conservative Party published a consultation which looked at how flexible working rights could be changed. At present, an employee with 26 weeks of service can make one request for flexible working in any 12-month period. There are certain statutory reasons for rejecting a request and a particular process within a 3-month timescale which has to be adhered to when considering any request. Important to note that it's the right to request flexible working, not the right to work flexibly, so it is subject to the consent of the employer. And the consultation focused on widening rights for employees, and it has been announced that changes will be brought into force in the future. Firstly, to make flexible working a day one right, so there will not be a requirement for 26 weeks of service. There will be an obligation on employers to discuss any objection to a request before refusing this. During the consultation, there was a suggestion that employers must demonstrate in writing that they've considered an alternative arrangement. The government's not gone that far, but it has required employers to hold the discussion around possible alternatives prior to rejecting any request. Employees will now be permitted to make 2 flexible working requests in any 12-month period rather than 1, and the time taken to respond to a request has been reduced to 2 months. One of the issues that I've found in the past is that particularly employees coming back from a period of statutory leave, such as maternity or paternity leave, will either make the request at the very start of leave, which is unhelpful because they may not be back for a year, or they may make it just before they return to work. And in those circumstances, if an employer has 3 months to deal with the request, that could cause an issue if the employee is returning in, say, a few weeks' time. So reducing it to 2 months, I think, is a good idea, and I think it's certainly manageable for employers. Employees will no longer be required to set out how the employer might deal with the effects of their flexible working request. So the previous form stated that essentially employees had to think of any obstacles themselves and come up with ways of overcoming those. That in itself is seen as an obstacle to succeeding with a flexible working request. So that has been removed. And finally, the government will look at how to publicise essentially the employee's right to try and agree an informal, temporary flexible working arrangement where that might be needed. So as I say, no clear time frame on introducing that legislation. I think the most significant developments are the removal of the service requirement, the increase to 2 requests in any 12-month period, and the reduction in time that can be taken by the employer for rejecting a request. Importantly, the statutory prescribed reasons for refusal will still remain, so detrimental impact on quality and performance, inability to reorganise work, inability to recruit staff to cover any gaps as a result of the flexible working request. I do expect that this will probably come in October 2023, but we will wait to see progress on that as it makes its way through Parliament. If you want any further advice on this, or if you want to sign up to our weekly employment alerts, videos and other content that we send out every Monday morning on our dispatch, please do get in touch. Email employmenthub@chadlaw.co.uk. Thank you.